what is this is your third Comic-Con. What's the status of the movie? I mean, I feel like you've been working on it forever.
The status of the movie is we have pretty much a finished movie. I have 10 VFX shots, under 10 VFX shots, which are being finished off right now. They need to be dropped into the movie, but we're kind of done. So it's going to wait until we have the opportunity to put it out. But the good news about that is I've got to see, I know that it's good. I've shown it to people that I trust and whose opinions I respect and who are honest with me, and they've said it's good. So now I just kind of clench my fists and grit my teeth and wait for everyone else to see it.
You totally could have beat Star Wars if it came out the same weekend.
If Star Wars hadn't sat on our date.
I think there's still a lot of people who aren't entirely sure what to make of this movie.
Yeah.
How do you describe this in 50 or 100 words to people who are like, I know the games, but what do I get out of this as a film?
I mean, I would say that this is a war movie, but it shows the humanity of both sides. And I think what was really important to us is that as much as I love and admire the Peter Jackson movies, the Lord of the Rings saga, you kind of knew who the good guys were and who the bad guys were. The good guys were the cute ones and the humans, and the bad guys were the monsters. And I think what we've done is, Warcraft by its very nature allows people to play any side. And I think it was always important to me that if we were going to make a Warcraft movie, you have to be true to that in particular. So, we have heroes on both sides, and we follow the stories of those heroes in equal level.
You're coming off of these two sci-fi movies. What's it like kind of going from these hard sci-fi concepts to sort of a big sweeping epic fantasy movie?
It's like going from playing Day of the Tentacle on one day to playing D&D the next day, You can do it, but you just need different dice.
So if there's heroes on both sides, does the audience in this movie side with one or the other, or are they sort of all in a shade of gray?
No, I mean, I think, I don't want to give away too much.
Sure, of course.
But there are definitely, I think it will be very evident who the heroes are on both sides. It may not be so evident who the villains are.
Okay.
What can you say about the tone of the movie? Because we've heard comparisons to Lord of the Rings and Avatar and things like that. Is it going to be kind of dark and gritty, a little grittier than those things, or is it about on par with that?
I'd say it was probably on par with it, but I mean, I think we have a unique voice. We have 20 years of lore and gameplay coming out of Blizzard's games, from the RTSs right through the online games, that kind of inform a sensibility. And we tried to stay true to that. And what makes that work so well? I was playing, since Orcs and Humans, and I think there is a lightness of tone to some of it, but there's also some real dark storytelling as well. And working closely with Chris Metzen and Nick Opter and the guys at Blizzard, we really wanted to stay true to it. And at the same time, they appreciated and helped us find a way to make it as accessible as we can to a broader audience.
Kind of going in more detail on that, you're a gamer, clearly.
Yeah.
And games have a very poor track record of being translated into film
They
because
do.
the narrative styles are very different.
Yes.
Can you talk about navigating that transition and perhaps what you as a gamer brought to it?
I would say, as soon as I saw David Fincher make a movie out of Facebook, I felt like anything was possible. It's not necessarily... The source of your material is not necessarily going to dictate whether you can make a good movie. It's finding an element of truth in it, or a thread which you can build a story around. Now, fortunately, Warcraft has, as I said, 20 years of storytelling to pick from. And for us, the obvious choice was to go right to the beginning of that story of when orcs first met humans. So that was kind of our initial setup. And then a lot of things fall into place from that. You kind of know who your main characters are going to be because, you have the lore to kind of set you on the path at that point. But again, working with the guys at Blizzard and using their creativity and our own, I think we were able to refine and pare down on what it is that would make a good core story for a film, because a film is always going to be different from a game, and you always have to have a narrative that you can. The audience is not going to be there to choose the story for you.
Is the game going to, or does the movie kind of follow the game's continuity at all? Are you taking that into consideration?
100% taking it into consideration. Whether we follow, the contours of every nook and cranny, probably not. But I do feel very confident that fans of the game will feel like they are in, caring hands. We're going to do them justice.
Visually, can you talk about the things that were most exciting and inspiring for you?
Absolutely. I mean, Weta has done amazing work on building the costumes and the weapons for the film. We also worked with ILM on our visual effects, on our post-production, and there is a battle of the titans going on right now, which I find incredibly exciting between Weta Digital and what ILM are doing, trying to one-up each other. Weta has done amazing work. I think ILM has sort of got their time to shine right now, and they've taken on the gauntlet and created our characters, and they're phenomenal. Some of the facial work that they have done with the motion capture, with facial motion capture, was really extraordinary. Some of the raw data that was coming out, they were putting into the models from Toby Kebbell and from Rob Kaczynski and Clancy Brown as well. And that raw data was driving the models, and it already looked phenomenal. Just as raw data. When they cleaned it up and did their magic, it's really special.
This is a game that's been evolving and is known for its kind of tributes and Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Can we expect to see any Easter eggs, or can you drop
Absolutely.
it in?
I can't give you any hints. Otherwise, it wouldn't be Easter eggs. But there are lots of Easter eggs, lots of them. And I think, it's kind of unique because you have a fantasy world. So for an audience who doesn't know anything about Warcraft, everything seems new. Everything seems incredible and unexpected. For Warcraft fans, there's a twofold experience of seeing things that you recognize and then having that extra recognition factor of things that you weren't expecting to see there that are the Easter eggs, so that you really get those extra moments.
We've heard this movie kind of described as an origin movie or sort of a first contact movie. Do you see this as the first in a series of Warcraft movies?
I would love that to be the case. I think Legendary are very smart. They want to see how things play out. I think we have a movie we're very proud of. I don't think anyone is going to be disappointed after this, and if it goes well, I am pretty convinced that Chris Metzen and I, Chris Metzen from Blizzard and I, have a very good idea of what 3 films we could, what story we could tell in 3 films, given the opportunity.
Would you come back after working on it for so long?
Yeah, I would. I mean, the thing is, the film doesn't come out until June of next year. I would love to. I have this kind of pet project I've been trying to make for years and years called Mute. If I can squeeze in Mute before Warcraft even comes out, then that would give me my little indie I wanted to make, and then I would love to jump back into this. So we'll see.
Would you ever want to go back to sci-fi?
Mute sci-fi.
Okay.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Yeah.
Two quick ones. Marvel or DC?
Well, Marvel can't even be bothered showing up here, so DC, of course.
And who wins in the race, the Enterprise or the Millennium Falcon?
You got to give it to the Millennium Falcon.
Fair.
Yeah. Although I like the moral questions of Next Generation, so I've always been a fan of that. Picard is my co-pilot.
Yeah, there you go.
Who's the Warcraft
Should
character?
really be Data, not Picard.
That's okay.
You know what I mean.
What's the Warcraft character that surprised you the most as you were kind of going through it?
Now that's interesting. Can we talk about this character or not?
We can talk about it.
Nobody's going to hear this.
Draka, Duratan's wife, Draka, was a character that was written smaller and grew over the course of the film, and she's fantastic. Great character, amazing actress who performs her, and just a really unique character who I'm very proud of. Just worked out beautifully.
What's it been like kind of balancing the motion capture element and kind of getting those performances out of that CG element?
We were really lucky in that Toby Kebbell, who plays Duratan, had come off the experience of having done one of the Apes movies, and who played Koba in one of the last Apes movie, and so he had the experience. He was very used to what we were asking of him. But even he, I think, was surprised and excited about where ILM were able to take the work that he was doing. All the nuances they were able to capture. But he was kind of our go-to guy as far as helping the cast who had not done it before understand what was required. So he was really a key part of it.